A great character-driven remodeling company is actually quite easy. It's just the first 20 years that are a bit challenging. Great companies are collections of great people, and we have great people. They're the ones that helped us build our reputation, but they only come after you've built something they want to be part of. We don't necessarily have to look for good people. They come to us. And that's what you want when you hire an exterior remodeling company. Someone who's going to stand behind their work, and a company that is truly proud of their people. And it's because they do great work. And when you're ready, we'll do great work for you too. This is Brad Youngluth with Semper Fi Roofing and Exteriors, your local, veteran-owned and operated exterior remodeling company. For your new roof, siding, window and door installation, or masonry work, you can count on Semper Fi to keep you safe, warm, and dry.
We keep you safe, warm, and dry, Semper Fi.
Get your rock-solid guaranteed pre-approval to buy at accunet.com.
Trusted, relevant, locally owned, locally programmed. We are Wisconsin's radio station. News Radio 620, WTMJ Milwaukee.
At 11:01, I'm Greg Matzik. This is Wisconsin's Midday News for Monday, January 13th. Your top story, a pedestrian struck and killed in the Milwaukee intersection.
I'm Jessica Ty. More progress towards a ceasefire.
They're feeling it today. Mostly sunny, breezy, very cold. A high of 17. Wind chill anywhere from 0 to 10 below. And gusts up to 30 miles an hour. Tonight, clear and cold, a low of 4 degrees. Tuesday, mostly sunny, breezy, very cold again with a high of 16. Again, that wind chill going to feel like 20 below. It is 11 degrees and sunny in Milwaukee. At 11:01 from the WTMJ breaking newsroom, a pedestrian is now dead after being struck by a driver Saturday near 76 in Silver Spring on Milwaukee's northwest side. The 52-year-old pedestrian was crossing 76th Street when the driver traveling northbound struck the man. Police arrested a 45-year-old driver for striking the man, and charges are pending.
A Racine pastor found guilty of attempted sexual exploitation receives his sentence today. Bernabe Leon Alvarez was convicted in October of trying to initiate sex with 2 teenage girls while acting as a church therapist. It happened between 2020 and 2023. The case saw several delays as Alvarez is a citizen of Mexico and was here in the U.S. illegally. Alvarez faces up to 50 years in prison.
A school referendum could be on the ballot in Racine this April.
The Racine Unified School District Board will hold a special meeting this evening to consider adding a 5-year, $190 million operational referendum to their ballot. Money from an operational referendum would go towards school safety and high school academy offerings, among other things. If it fails, the superintendent says there would be programming and staff cuts. The Racine Journal-Times says if approved, the referendum would add about $35 in taxes per $100,000 of assessed property value. Eric Bilstead, WTMJ News.
Hospitals across the country are under strain as respiratory illnesses surge. There have already been nearly 3,000 flu-related deaths this season.
35 states are now reporting high levels of respiratory illness, and ABC medical correspondent Dr. Darian Sutton says tests check for flu, COVID, and RSV.
The majority of the test results that I'm getting back from my patients are influenza A, and that's reflected in what we're seeing across the nation.
There have been at least 11 pediatric flu deaths this season. Last flu season saw a record-breaking 200 child deaths. Brian Clark, ABC News.
For the first time in more than a year, both Israel and Hamas are indicating they're on the verge of reaching a ceasefire deal.
A source close to the Gaza ceasefire talks telling ABC News there is, quote, a real chance for a breakthrough. That after significant progress overnight in the Doha negotiations. Israel and Hamas now on the verge of a final round of negotiations to tackle the last disputes. We're told a 3-phased ceasefire may be just days away. In phase 1, the deal will pause fighting in Gaza for 8 weeks and free some of the 94 hostages, including Americans. Jordana Miller, ABC News, Jerusalem.
Another southeast Wisconsin craft brewery is closing its doors, but this one temporarily. Racine's Littleport Brewing will close January 9th. And it's January 13th, after business owners say some of the brewery's original investors have rescinded their investments. Ownership hopes to reopen Littleport in some form at another location within the next year.
Time for news about your money in the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. The Dow is up today about 65 points, just over the 42,000 mark. Rough go again for the NASDAQ here, down 275 points at 18,889. S&P 500 is off about 40 today at 5786. Financial planning at every level. It's Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, and Annex Ignite. For details, visit annexwealth.com.
What the Packers are doing today after yesterday's loss. Stay close. Sports, traffic, and weather next. Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time is 11:05.
This change has leveled us up while being able to maintain the same quality of service that we've always provided, with no upfront fees and 1.9% real estate commission. We're proud to be part of the Century 21 family, so you can move fearlessly with the added confidence of top-of-the-line marketing for maximum home exposure. And that means more eyeballs and the real potential for the highest price for your home. This is Angela Calais with Century 21 Benefit Realty, benefit-realty.com, where you pay less for full service. Each office is independently owned and operated. First off, our 1.9% commission structure helps get their foot in the door, and that's why agents like working here. But what they really like is having the strongest marketing tools available, with the resources to help them sell homes at the highest prices to satisfy their clients. Century 21 Benefit Realty offers what agents like most, and that's to help them be successful. If you really want to believe in the business model that you're representing, give me a call. I'm Angela Calais with Century 21 Benefit Realty. Call me, and let's talk about your future. Each office is independently owned and operated.
This is Matt Meitner, owner of Sit Means Sit Dog Training. Do you find yourself talking to your dog but feel like she's not listening to you?
Bella, sit!
Are you constantly repeating yourself but she's not following your directions?
Sit! Sit!
Frustrating, isn't it? At Sit Means Sit Dog Training, we want to help you have a happy, confident, and obedient dog, and we also want to make the training process an enjoyable and worthwhile experience. Contact Sit Means Sit today to schedule a free consultation so we can create a customized training program so you are able to have the dog you want and deserve.
Sit Means Sit Dog Training. Sorry, we don't train husbands, wives, or kids.
Ready to tackle your home improvement project this winter? Exterior Pros and Baths is here to help you score big with quality home exterior and shower upgrades. As a 5-time President's Club Award winner, Exterior Pros is not playing around. With flexible financing, it's never been easier to invest in your home without breaking the bank. Get started today and save $2,000. Visit extpros.com or call 262-800-4274. That's 262-800-4274. Trust the pros and kick off your home transformation today.
Time for a WTMJ Sports Update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call, That's All Sports desk. It's the day that nobody likes. Clean out your locker day in Green Bay after Sunday's 22-10 loss to the Eagles in Philadelphia.
Anytime you aren't holding that Super Bowl trophy up and having that be the end of your season is tough and it's disappointing. There's a lot of things that we kind of just hurt ourselves in a lot of areas. So we'll be back. We'll find ways to get better and attack this offseason.
Packers quarterback Jordan Love with Aaron Rodgers' contract off the books. The Packers will have roughly $63 million in cap space this offseason. And wildcard weekend wraps up tonight in Arizona with the Rams taking on the Vikings. The game's supposed to be played in Los Angeles, but moved to Arizona due to the wildfires currently raging in the Los Angeles area.
Checking out the roads with your WTMJ Johnson & Sons paving time safer traffic. No big crashes to let you know about. We do have a couple disabled vehicles out on the system. Most are not causing problems, but I want to let you know about this one. Disabled vehicle on the ramp from County KR to 4194 North. That's in Racine County. Want to let you know about this one because it's a big white box truck that's off to the side, and there are 2 emergency responders, so traffic is just kind of taking a peek at it and going a little bit slower around it.
Sincere January weather. It's cold today. It is sunny, but it's usually an indication that it's going to be chilly out as well. Breezy with a high of just 17 degrees. Wind gusts up to 30 miles an hour. That could make it feel like 10 below. Overnight low of 4. Tuesday's high 16. Wind chill could make it feel like 20 below zero. Wednesday, the sun returns with a high of 25. Thursday, look out. High of 39 degrees. And Friday, we're hitting 42. 11 degrees and sunny in Milwaukee at 11:09.
Live from the Annex Wealth Management Studios in downtown Milwaukee, it's Wisconsin's Midday News, making stories come to life. Now, here are your hosts, Greg Matzik and Jessica Ty.
Little peek behind the curtain for our pre-show meeting. So typically we're in a little production studio. Sometimes we have a recording. It's our spot where we do some preparation. And Gina, our producer, is typically sitting, about 8 feet away, and we're kind of in a triangular sort of formation. And, usually about 9:30, 10 o'clock, Gina brings out a little bag of pistachios. And I urge her to throw a pistachio in my direction so I can catch it in my mouth.
And I just watched this, everybody. I'm just there watching this.
Now, I have taken a couple off the forehead, and one, I think, chipped a tooth. But overall, our success rate is reasonably high. Well, let me tell you this. It really paid off because on Saturday, the girls wanted to go out for hibachi. We love hibachi in the Mexico. Who's not having fun at a hibachi place? Right. And I was sitting on the corner, so I got the first bit of zucchini flung my direction, and I caught it.
And you got it.
Nailed it, right?
Because you had the practice.
The place went wild, right? Rousing applause. We had sake that was squirted into my mouth shortly thereafter. But so I wanted to thank Gina because had we not tested this out with pistachios, I don't know that I would have caught the zucchini.
Thank you, Gina.
Yeah.
Anytime, Greg.
How was your weekend?
Well, I made some great chili. I wasn't like popping it, throwing it into anybody's mouth or anything. I guess you could have done that with
kidney beans or something.
Oh gosh, yeah, no. It was great chili for the game. The game, not great.
Yeah, chili better than the game. We know what game we're talking about here. Some big stories that we are on top of here this morning. It's 11:10 on WTMJ.
And now it's time for 3 Big Things on Wisconsin's Midday News.
Number 1, the death toll rises in the California wildfires. 24 people are now confirmed dead, and officials expect that number to go up yet. Firefighters are making progress, but the fire threat is nowhere near over as Santa Ana winds are expected to kick back up again today. ABC's Alex Stone is in L.A.
While the firefight on the 2 largest wildfires is easing, there is a new round of Santa Ana winds coming in Tuesday night into Wednesday, and they could be up to 70 miles an hour. That has everybody here on edge. This is not over yet. The worry being either it will kick up what's already been burning, or there could be new fire starts that will take off and run.
California Governor Gavin Newsom is demanding an independent investigation into the water issue, specifically in Pacific Palisades, where many fire hydrants have run dry. And stay with us. Coming up at 11:35, we're going to get an update on families trying to get back into their homes or what's left of them. A lot of these families just want to see. They want to go to their property. Is my home still there? If it is, what's left? And if not, to kind of start that process of knowing what to do next. You'll learn about the challenges they're facing right now. Also, how looters are trying to disguise themselves. I hate when you have a tragedy like this and then all of a sudden you're worried about looters, but it happens time and time again. And these looters are getting creative.
Hey, warning against price gouging, too, right? Gasoline, supplies, medical supplies, you name it. There are laws in California that prohibit price gouging. Meanwhile, in Green Bay, members of the Packers clearing out their lockers and doing so as we speak following Sunday's 22-10 loss to the Eagles. The Packers were down 7-0 less than a minute into the game.
That gets decked up and for the third. I think the ball came out there. Who's going to come out of it? Eagles say they have it. What a start to this. They uncover the pile. A fight for that ball.
Yeah, Fox Sports with the call. It started with the opening kick, right? Things were going great until the opening kick of the game in which the Packers fumbled. I thought the guy recovered it, but nonetheless, the Eagles got it. Scored a touchdown just 3 plays later. Packers never really recovered. Here's a bad combination, Jessica. 4 turnovers, 4 starters lost due to injury, 4 holding penalties.
Oh, it was rough.
Not the recipe for a win.
Interception after interception. What were we doing? Ugh, that's rough.
If you're looking for a bright side, Packers still a young roster, and they've got a really healthy cap situation because Aaron Rodgers' contract goes off the books. So come March, they'll have roughly $60 million to play with. Some of that goes to the draft class, keeping some of the free agents that you'll have in March. But they should have some money to spend should they choose to do it.
I like that. No matter what, it's always fun cheering for the Pack, right? So we'll just look ahead to next season. Maybe
finish,
it's our
though.
turn next season.
Frustrating.
Number 3, confirmation hearing blitz. President-elect Donald Trump takes the oath of office 1 week from today. Now the rush is on to get his nominees confirmed for key posts in his administration. ABC senior congressional correspondent Rachel Scott details what we can expect this week.
There are 14 Senate confirmation hearings this week alone, starting with Pete Hegseth. That, of course, is Trump's pick to lead the Department of Defense. He comes before the Armed Services Committee tomorrow. The former Fox News host still fending off a slew of allegations, from financial mismanagement to sexual misconduct and alcohol abuse, all allegations which he strongly denies.
Trump was on Capitol Hill just days ago, meeting with Senate Republicans behind closed doors. He was trying to urge his party to rally behind his nominees, and Trump made a special and personal appeal for Pete Hegseth. So we'll see what happens this week.
11:14 on WTMJ. Coming up later this hour, we're going to go back to Altadena, California. Alex Stone is out and about and trying to remain safe as the fires continue to burn in that portion of the country. California is a disaster zone in Los Angeles County, and Alex will have the latest coming up at about 11:35. It's 11:15 on WTMJ.
Wisconsin's afternoon news is here for you, bringing you the latest headlines with John McCure.
Wanted to get you some information on the shooting suspect in that United Healthcare CEO shooting that took place in New York.
And diving into the details with Julia Fellow.
Charged with murder as an act of terrorism. Kind of bizarre when I saw that.
Tune in to Wisconsin's Afternoon News, where your day's story unfolds. Weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m. Only here on WTMJ.
Helping people and families seriously injured in accidents and standing up for victims to take the burden off their shoulders. It's WTMJ's Greg Matzik here. If you've been hurt in an accident, you make a call to Gruber Law Offices. Let them focus on the legal aspect while you focus on healing. You connect with Gruber, and they take it from there. Locally known, nationally recognized, serving the people in the state for 40 years and giving back to the community. Very important for the folks at Gruber. This family-run business gets results that speak for themselves. And never a cost, never a fee, never a cost to consult and retain their firm. With Gruber, there's no fee until they win your case, and it's what they do. If you've been hurt in an accident, you make a call to Gruber, 414-276-6666, and visit gruber-law.com.
Sun, 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 fun, 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 sun, sun, sun.
Boaters, this is your show, the Milwaukee Boat Show at State Fair Park. Over 300 boats, family runabouts, ski and surf boats, luxury pontoons, more Lake Michigan boats than ever. Tierra, Beneteau, Pursuit, Cruisers, Sea Ray, Boston Whaler, and more. Get that boat and get that deal. See Twiggy the water skiing squirrel the second weekend. Check MilwaukeeBoatShow.com, January 17 through 26, closed Monday and Tuesday.
If you're a woman looking to take control of your financial future, you are not alone. Women are leading the way in business and managing household finances, but challenges still exist. That's why Annex Wealth Management presents the Women in Wealth series every third Thursday. It'll empower you with knowledge and resources to succeed. Join us for collaborative discussions, community building, and learn about key areas of financial planning. Women in Wealth events are free every third Thursday. Sign up at annexwealth.com/events and bring a friend.
Well, don't take the name Whole Foods too literally. Researchers have found ultra-processed foods dominate the offerings at the grocery store chain.
Whole Foods isn't alone in its lack of unprocessed foods. A study published in Nature Food finds that Walmart and Target likewise stock their shelves by and large with items that bear little resemblance to the grains, fruits, and vegetables that they originally came from. The authors hope the findings encourage retailers to add more whole foods to their inventories and consumers to make better choices at the store.
The new study analyzed more than 50,000 food items sold by Walmart, Target, and Whole Foods. The researchers determined that 70% of available products at those three big retailers consisted of packaged goods, salty snacks, and desserts that are basically ultra-processed. So what does that mean? It's 5 or more ingredients. Do you look at the ingredients when you're either going shopping or if Emily has bought the food? Do you take a peek at the ingredient list in the cupboard?
So I pay more attention to the nutrition facts. Right, so if it's super high in sodium or super high in saturated fat,
yeah,
I'm very much less likely to buy it, because it's full of preservatives. I don't pay as much attention to, but maybe I've done so a little bit more. The red dyes and things like that. Forever sort of chemicals that end up on foods or forever sort of ingredients. So not as much the ingredients, more so the nutrition facts.
I don't know when it was, but it was fairly recently, maybe in the last 2 years or so. I just read something that made it really simple. It just said, your food doesn't need all of these ingredients. If you take a look, like the best foods for you are going to be the ones with the fewest, the least ingredients, right? And I think about it, I was looking at this story in the Washington Post where they analyzed, just dozens of ultra-processed foods. One of the things they looked at was peanut butter. And some of the most popular peanut butter brands today contain additives designed to enhance the flavor, texture, and appearance. Things like sugar, hydrogenated oils, things like that. But the bottom line is really in peanut butter, all you need is peanut and salt. And think about how much healthier that is for you than if you turn it over and you see peanuts, salt, palm oil, mono and diglycerides, sugar and molasses. I mean, if you turn these things over and you see these words that you don't even know what the heck they are, probably not good for you, right?
And that's been going on for a long time. And it does contribute to, I think, the overall fat content, sugar content, sodium content. And if that stuff is just off the charts, man, I don't feel comfortable buying it for myself, let alone my children. We're a little bit lucky. I think my daughters love fruits. They love vegetables. We cannot keep enough fruit in the house.
That's awesome.
They both love broccoli, and they're under 10 years old or 10 and under. So that's
little
a good
trees.
thing.
Did you tell them they were little trees as kids? I feel like kids like it a little bit more when they're known as little trees.
Anything to dress it up. They love their snacks. We just have to try and limit that in the house as best we can.
Greek yogurt. That was another one they looked at. Really, Greek yogurt, all it needs, 2 ingredients, milk and cultures. And the thing is, so if it has a lot of toppings, that's usually what people like, right? So they suggest adding the toppings yourself. That's something I do. I go and I get vanilla bean yogurt, so it has a little sweetener in there. But I add the granola myself, and then I add some fresh fruit as well. My husband likes it with a little honey too. But even if you're adding the honey yourself, it's likely to be better than if it's already in there. You're going to cut down on some things.
No doubt. Interesting stuff. 11:21 on WTMJ. Kind of an interesting week of weather on tap. It begins today with a deep freeze. And by the end of the week, we warm up. Spring-like temperatures. TMJ4's Tyler Moore joins us after this.
Get the help you need Saturday morning with How To Radio. At 7, it's the WTMJ Fix-It Show with David Nason, featuring this week's guest, Capital Heating and Cooling. At 9, plan your dream vacation with the Fox World Travel Show. And at 10, get financial guidance during Money Talk. Contact Annex Wealth Management for an unbiased review of your investments at annexwealth.com. How To Radio, Saturday mornings on WTMJ.
Well, it's our final night of the Potawatomi Sportsbook Football Monday. Join me and Gary Ellerson tonight, 6 to 8 at Potawatomi Sportsbook on ESPN Wisconsin. It's our final show. We will talk about the game and look forward, but you don't have to stop going to Potawatomi Sportsbook. Come tonight, come on Wednesday night for the weekly wager, go this weekend and watch some games. There is no better place to watch sports than at Potawatomi Sportsbook. They've got a full restaurant and bar, VIP deck, self-service kiosks, very easy to use. They've got that incredible video wall, 2,000 square feet. It's amazing. The game, or games, will be on at Potawatomi Sportsbook. Stop in and enjoy it. See all that's new at Potawatomi Casino Hotel in Milwaukee.
Winning in the NFL comes down to the basics, blocking and tackling. In retirement, the certainty of protection and income are the keys to success. And as a former NFL player myself, I have experience with both. Hi, I'm Mitch Lyons. Having played on winning teams with the Steelers and Falcons, studying game films helped me mentally prepare for the challenges ahead. Now I star in a new Hollywood documentary called The Retirement Deception to help you visualize and prepare for your fourth quarter of life. You see, you don't retire on your nest egg, but rather the income it can produce. This film shows you exactly how to protect your retirement from stock market drops and produce more income than you thought possible. And it's free for you to view. Call 844-763-2837 right now for your free streaming code to watch The Retirement Deception. Don't risk your retirement savings at the goal line. You don't need to be risky to have a winning strategy. Call today to speak with an all-pro retirement specialist to get your free streaming code to watch The Retirement Deception. Call today, 844-763-2837. That's 844-763-2837. MitchLyonsWealth.com, your best game plan to protect, grow, and win retirement.
Yeah, sincere January weather settling in here for at least a couple of days, but a bit of a warm-up here by the end of the week, beginning on Thursday. TMJ4 meteorologist Tyler Moore joining us. Hey, Tyler.
Hey, good morning. How's it going?
Good. We love when we have in January all of our seasons in one, right? Except summer. We're nowhere near summer, I guess, but quite a range here this week.
Oh, man, it's crazy. I mean, it's going to be a roller coaster, and what you really don't see off the forecast period is even colder air for next week. So, buckle up. It's going to be a pretty crazy ride for the next couple of weeks. But yeah, I mean, it's cold out there obviously right now, but tomorrow morning is going to be the rough morning, 10 to 20 below for the wind chill. And then, yeah, we're talking 40s by Friday.
Wow, 40s by Friday. That's crazy. Is there any snow in the forecast, even long range at this point?
Not really. Not much. Maybe a couple flurries here or there. But yeah, snow lovers are going to have to rely on the man-made snow and on those ski hills to enjoy snow because it's just sunny, cold and dry weather. There's no really any major storm systems on the horizon. When we get these deep shots of polar air, it kind of takes away all the moisture in the air. It's a very dry air mass, and all the storm systems tend to track down to our south. So that's what we're going to look at. We could see something maybe towards the end of the month. Some of the models are hinting at maybe a little bit of a pattern flip as we head towards February, which would actually lead us to more mild temperatures. But until then, it looks pretty cold and dry as we close out January.
So, Tyler, what's triggering the variance in temperatures? We go from below zero wind chills to 42 on Friday. What triggers that?
Yeah, it's really all about the jet stream placement and the shots of cold air that we're getting. So you get kind of these lobes of cold air that circulate around the poles, and around this time of year, they like to sag a little bit further down to the south when that jet stream can dip. So we've kind of been in that pattern of northwest flow, which tends to bring in some of that Canadian air. Now we're getting a little bit of a deeper shot of Canadian air, and then the jet stream levels out just for a bit. It becomes a little bit more westerly instead of northwesterly, so that allows that mild air to come back in Thursday and Friday. But it is brief when we go back to that pattern next week. Around the same time, Monday, Tuesday of the following week, we could see those even colder wind chills, and that's all because of, again, that drop in the jet stream. We call it a big trough in the east, and that just allows all that Canadian air to spill our way.
Speaking of air, Tyler, I know you look across the country as well. We've talked with you, on Friday about California and the raging wildfires there. They had a little bit of help because the winds died down. That was great. But now I know they're expecting those winds to pick back up. What are you seeing? How concerned are you for today and the days ahead?
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty concerned for what they have to deal with. If they can't get some of these fires under control with some stable conditions that they're trying to deal with right now, it doesn't look great because, those winds look like they could pick back up over the next couple of days. And again, you know how we're kind of stuck in this pattern of colder and drier weather? Well, it's the same thing for them. They're stuck with the high pressure over parts of Utah, and that's that flow for them out of the east that funnels the wind through the valleys and causes those Santa Ana winds. So, unfortunately for them, more dry conditions, no storm systems to bring rain towards California, and just some very strong gusty winds. So, expect firefighters to have some issues out there, unfortunately.
Yeah, it remains dry. I mean, that is always kind of an issue out west. How long have they been in drought conditions out there, Tyler?
It's improved over the last couple of years. Obviously, California has been in kind of more of a long-term drought the last several years, but the last 2 winters have been extremely wet. And I was looking at some of the reservoir levels there. I mean, they have plenty of water built up from previous winters and snow melts. But this winter has just been very, very dry. So they're building a little bit of that drier season right now. And the lack of rainfall is definitely just going to make things worse. So you combine that with those winds, and that's why those fire conditions are so tough right now.
TMJ4 meteorologist Tyler Moore. Tyler, we always appreciate it. We'll check in again later this week.
Sounds good. We'll talk to you on Friday.
Yep, sounds good. 11:27 on WTMJ. Yeah, to reiterate here, cold temperatures today, that wind chill, down around 10 below zero. But tomorrow morning, if you got kids headed out to the bus stop, please be cautious. Maybe consider driving them down if you can. It's going to be pretty nasty out tomorrow morning, then a bit of a warm-up.
Yeah, one of our listeners from the 262, Peter, says it's becoming a yo-yo of temps. And it really does feel like that. I mean, we had those warm temps, and then we took a dive, and then we went back up, and here we are cold, 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 and boom, then 40s by Friday.
11:28 on WTMJ. News coming up after this.
Many times, patients have symptoms they didn't know were actually related to their airway breathing issues.
I was suffering from sinus issues, jaw issues, and neck pain. I guess I just kind of had my breaking point.
Unfortunately, this is typical. But until you get to the root of your problem, it's going to just persist. Fortunately, Jody took action, and the results were typical as well.
My quality of life is so different. But one of the first things that I noticed was my breathing. I don't ever remember being able to breathe like that.
Being able to breathe freely is life-changing, and the effects can go beyond that.
Sleeping better, having more energy, and it seemed as if all of those symptoms that I had just melted away.
And thank heavens for that, because at Advent, results are what drive us, helping you breathe well so you can live better.
Results may vary. Most insurance accepted.
Hey, WTMJ's John Mercure here, asking you to join me in October as my wife and I explore the magical kingdoms of Southeast Asia, from the villages of Vietnam and the temples of Cambodia to the friendly locals of Laos and the beachside resort in stunning, lively Thailand. I hope you'll join us for this unforgettable journey. Ancient and mysterious worlds of rural landscapes, bustling cities, and fascinating history in Vietnam. Explore the Chu Chi tunnels used by the Viet Cong. Experience a street food adventure through Hanoi and cherish the serenity of Hai Long Bay on a beautiful boat ride. Bangkok in Thailand, the beaches in Thailand, history, tradition, food. If you'd like more information on this great trip, send me an email. john.mercure@wtmj.com. john.mercure@wtmj.com. It's Thailand, Vietnam, Cambodia, Laos. I'm super jazzed about this trip. Send me an email. I send you the info. john.mercure, MERCURE, @wtmj.com.
It's 11:30. I'm Greg Matzik. This is Wisconsin's Midday News for Monday, January 13th. Your top story, fighting fire with candlelight.
I'm Jessica Ty. Where did all the donuts go, Greg?
Mostly sunny today, breezy, very cold, a high of just 17 degrees. Tonight, clear and cold with a low of 4, wind chill anywhere from 10 to 20 below zero. It's currently 11 degrees and sunny in Milwaukee at 11:30.
ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. In Southern California, just as fire crews are dousing the flames from this past week of wildfires, officials are warning of another round of extreme winds starting tonight. Hurricane-force gusts are expected. At least 24 deaths are blamed on the wildfires this past week. More than a dozen others are still missing. L.A. County Sheriff Robert Luna says fires may be out in some neighborhoods, but he urged residents under evacuation to wait until orders are lifted.
We understand, again, that people want to go back, but it is dangerous to do so, and we will not put anybody's safety at risk.
Authorities say they're investigating the origins of the fires, including possible arson or transmission lines sparking the Eaton fire. Senate lawmakers begin confirmation hearings this week for more than a dozen of President-elect Trump's cabinet picks, including Defense Secretary nominee Pete Hegseth. And a tsunami warning has expired following a 6.9 magnitude earthquake in southwestern Japan. This is ABC News.
Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time is 11:31. As historic wildfires continue to tear across Southern California, a northeast Wisconsin candle maker is lending a helping hand.
The Door County Candle Company in Sturgeon Bay is selling a Golden State candle where 100% of the proceeds go to the American Red Cross to help families who lost everything in the LA wildfires. Already, the candle has generated more than $2,000 in sales since it was introduced to shoppers on Thursday. Currently, the fires in California this year have destroyed between $135 billion and $150 billion in property damages, making this the costliest fire in U.S. history. Sean Brenda, WTMJ News.
Sports, traffic, and weather are next. Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time is 11:32.
AccuNet Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLS ID 255368.
Elizabeth and John bought their starter home 8 years ago, BC, as in before children. Now, with 2 elementary school-age kids, they wanted to make a move to the suburbs for a bigger home with more yard. But they didn't know if or how they could buy their next home without selling their current one. Fortunately, a friend who was a multi-time AccuNet client connected them with us, and we soon determined they could, in fact, afford to buy without selling first, which was a big relief to them and their real estate agent. Armed with an AccuNet rock-solid guaranteed pre-approval, it still took several weeks to find the right home for the next chapter in their life. But I'm happy to report that Elizabeth, John, and their boys opened their presents on Christmas morning in their new home after closing just a few days before. Whether you're buying your first home or your next home, go with the pros who have all the tools and know-how to make your home buying experience as smooth and successful as humanly possible. Get started with your rock-solid guaranteed pre-approval by clicking on the blue button at AccuNet.com. That's ACCUNET.com.
$1 in today's world doesn't go far unless you're spending it at Griffin. Because for just $1 over cost, you can buy brand new tires from us. Buy one or a whole set. This is Jim Griffin. Any major brand. We'll put you in new tires for just $1 over our cost with free tire repair and lifetime rotation. That's right, $1 over cost, and we'll even show you the invoice to prove it. So what's the catch? There's really no catch. You don't have to buy a car or a truck from us. We'd like it if you did, but our only requirement is we put them on for you. Buy 1, 2, or a set of 4. The $1 deal at Griffin. Available at Griffin Chrysler Jeep South, 27th Street and Jefferson. Griffin Chevrolet in the Auto Mall. Griffin Ford, Waukesha, and Fort Atkinson. 5 ways to make your dollar go further. Griffin, the buck stops here, but the deals on tires don't. $1 over cost. That's Griffin.
Not combinable with other tire offers.
Time for a WTMJ Sports Update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All Sports Desk. The Packers, as we speak, clearing out their lockers in Green Bay a day after a 22-10 loss to the Eagles in Philadelphia. Jordan Love with 3 interceptions in last night's loss.
Anytime you aren't holding that Super Bowl trophy up and having that be the end of your season is tough and it's disappointing. There's a lot of things that we kind of just hurt ourselves in a lot of areas. So we'll be back. We'll find ways to get better and attack this offseason.
Meanwhile, Mark Tauscher, Packers Hall of Famer, believes Love will improve as the seasons roll on.
I love his talent. You love his work ethic. You love everything that people have to say about him. So, yes, you can be frustrated, but Jordan Love is going to be our guy next year. He is going to get better.
That's some good news here. With Aaron Rodgers' contract off the books, the Packers will have roughly $63 million in cap space to work with. That'll be in March when the league year begins. Wildcard weekend wraps up tonight in Arizona. The Rams take on the Minnesota Vikings. That game moved from Los Angeles to Arizona because of the wildfires. And some breaking news, according to ESPN, Mike McCarthy is out as the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. McCarthy is expected to be a candidate for the head coaching vacancy in Chicago and New Orleans.
Let's get an update on the roads with your WTMJ Jensen & Sons paving time saver traffic. We're doing pretty good for a Monday. No big crashes to let you know about right now during midday. That's some good news. We do have a couple disabled vehicles out in the system. One I want to let you know about is out in the Brookfield area, close to Brookfield Square, I-94 West. About 2 miles beyond the ramp from Moreland Road, right shoulder is blocked due to a disabled vehicle, and it looks like we've got a couple of cars off to the side, possibly a tow truck out there as well. So hopefully this will be cleaned up quickly, but right now it is a little bit of a mess. Traffic is moving by, but slowing down just to take a peek at what's going on. So a heads up there.
Mostly sunny, breezy, very cold today, a high of just 17 degrees, but the wind gusting upwards of 30 miles an hour, really going to make it feel chilly out. That wind chill anywhere from 0 to 10 below. Tonight, 4, the overnight low, 1 below 0, the inland overnight low. That wind chill again, anywhere from 10 to 20 below 0. Tuesday, the deep freeze continues with a high of 16. Wednesday, slight warm-up with a high of 25. And by Thursday, partly cloudy, much warmer, and a high of 39 degrees. It's 11 and sunny in Milwaukee, approaching 11:37. Well, wildfires continue to rage on in Southern California. At least 24 people have died. That number is expected to go up, according to Governor Gavin Newsom. Dozens still unaccounted for, and more than 100,000 L.A. County residents under evacuation orders. Many of the fires still not contained. Progress being made in some of the smaller fires that have popped up in the general area, but still a devastating and horrific scene in California. We welcome in ABC's Alex Stone from Altadena. Alex, we checked in about a week ago, and it was sort of the beginning of this critical nature where, areas of Altadena, Pasadena, near the Rose Bowl was up in flames. Pacific Palisades, that was the biggest fire. The Eaton fire joined in. Where do we stand today, roughly 1 week after we last spoke with you?
Well, firefighters had a good weekend. That they were able to really battle back the flames. The winds calmed down after Friday night, and there's so much help coming in now between other states and Canada and Mexican firefighters. Ukraine is even offering help now to send in firefighters and search and rescue members. So that it's just there's so much man and woman power that from the air and from the ground that any little bit of fire that they see that they've been able to jump on. But now the worry is going into the next 2 days that here we go again, another Santa Ana wind event with what they call a PDS red flag warning, a particularly dangerous situation red flag warning. These are issued about once every 5 years. This is now the second one in a week, third one in a month. The first one in this was when the Malibu wildfire broke out about a month ago. You remember that one around Pepperdine University and homes that were burning. When they issue these, typically something big breaks out. So here we go again with this next round coming in, and the fire chief here in L.A. County saying
these winds, combined with low relative humidities and low fuel moistures, will keep the fire threat in Los Angeles County very high.
So we are not done with this yet. We've got to get through about Wednesday or Thursday, but still there's so much activity in Altadena and in Pacific Palisades to put out the fire and try to secure things to eventually get people to be able to go in and see that their homes are gone. But guys, so many homes are gone. It is just block after block, nothing but a gray ash left behind. The chimneys, that's about it that survived. Cars melted and molten metal from the cars ran down the street and then hardened. And Pacific Palisades is a wealthy community. Altadena is not. Altadena is like any community around Milwaukee of bungalow-style homes built in probably the 1900s to 1950s, with some of them with classic appliances in them that we can see all burned up. That it's just a community with a lot of families.
So hard. So many families have lost everything. How much concern is there right now about looters? I mean, it's the last thing you want to think about, but there is some concern. Are some looters actually dressed as firefighters?
Yeah, so they made an arrest of one guy who law enforcement says was dressed up as a firefighter and went in and was trying to blend in with the firefighters and the media. We have to wear all that gear as well, so to look like all of us when you're in there, so that he wouldn't be stopped, and that they found him and arrested him while looting. And there's in the really burned out neighborhoods, there's nothing to loot, nothing's left behind. But in the evacuated neighborhoods where the fire didn't burn, that's where looting is a problem, especially in Pacific Palisades, because so many celebrities live out there and the big homes and a lot of money. So they've made a couple of dozen arrests. We understand most of the people arrested are not from the local area, and it appears they came in to loot.
ABC's Alex Stone joining us from Altadena. Alex, finger pointing started almost immediately. As soon as it was revealed that fire hydrants were running dry and that the water pressure going uphill to fight a fire that was in the hills, it was nearly next to none. People putting out small fires with milk, juice, soda, whatever they had in their refrigerator. And then, of course, the Santa Ynez Reservoir in Pacific Palisades. What is the truth behind this reservoir that holds nearly 100 million gallons of water that sits in Pacific Palisades? Has it been dried up? Was there water in it? What is the truth here?
So a couple of things. The reservoir was empty because they were doing maintenance on it. LAFD says that they didn't know about that they had not been warned by Public Works or whoever was doing the work that had been emptied out. It wasn't a big reservoir. It's a pretty small reservoir, but it could have helped out. The water pressure situation is a logistical situation that firefighters in wildfire areas all know and have all dealt with. Think about at your home, if you run a couple of showers and flush the toilet and run a sink, you lose water pressure. And this is the same thing. And there's no good fix to it. There's nothing crazy going on with it, just that when fire comes through, it melts the water lines into all of those homes that are burning, and then you have open lines and air in those lines, and they spew out water. You have 200 fire engines hooking up to hydrants, pulling water, sprinkler systems going off, people running their own hoses, and the system just loses enough water. They can't run enough water through there and keep the pressure up. And so the systems are made for a building fire, for enough engines to go up and put out a house fire or an office fire, not for 7,000 building fires all at one time, and for the lines into all of those building fires to be cut off, and for everybody to be running their sprinklers. It just doesn't work.
Was anything done over the weekend in anticipation of the winds strengthening again?
They're doing what they can. Firefighters have been trying to button up their lines and make sure that anywhere where it could slop over into unburned areas that could burn, that they try to jump on that. In the areas where the winds are going to howl, the electricity will be shut off to prevent any kind of a wildfire if power lines do go down. It's not knowing exactly where the winds are going to be. 10 million people live in L.A. County alone, let alone Ventura County and Santa Barbara County and Orange County and Riverside and San Bernardino. I mean, you're talking 25 million people of what extent can you go to prepare? And so they're trying right now, but and not knowing exactly where the most extreme winds are going to hit, that's the problem.
Alex, just on a personal note, do you feel safe? Is everything okay in your world?
Yeah, everything's good. Our home is not in an evacuation area. The family's good. So yeah, we really need to get through Wednesday or Thursday, and then things should turn.
Alex, are a lot of people trying to return home just to see what's left of their homes, if anything?
They want to, but they can't. It's next to impossible and illegal for them to go in, and they can be arrested, and there are curfews and boundaries up. And that's why we, under California law, as media, we have a unique in California ability to access disaster areas, so we can come and go as we please to go in and report on it. And that's why a lot of evacuees are at the roadblocks pleading with us to go check on their homes, and we do it when we can. Our team did one this morning where they went to the gentleman's home and had to come back with the news that the home was gone. But so we turn into the eyes on all of these fires, typically, into the eyes and ears for the residents who are asking us to go in and look at their home and take a photo and bring it back. The people want to go back in. They can't go back in yet.
ABC's Alex Stone. Stay safe, Alex. We'll check in again soon.
Thanks, Alex.
You got it. Thanks, guys.
11:45 on WTMJ. Coming up next, Arby's has the meats. Right?
You're right, and I'll agree. It does sound too good to be true, but offering you affordable treatment that alleviates pain, which really does work, that we've seen in most cases insurance paid for in full, is a definite reality. It's pain relief, really. And these are FDA-approved treatments. They're safe and proven to reduce inflammation and alleviate pain. Yeah, you'll have to get a couple of shots, and I know that can scare people. But the needle is extremely small. And after giving shots like this hundreds of thousands of times, you'll see we make it very easy. You're going to feel the relief that our powerful pain relief agents give you. They're pain relief drugs that solve pain problems. And the way I feel is that Rejuvenex should be the first stop for anyone living with pain in shoulders, hips, elbows, and knees. At $65 per joint, per injection, it's probably the most affordable pain relief option available that actually works.
Rejuvenex. Alleviate your pain. Rejuvenate your life.
Rejuvenex Google reviews will tell you more.
Hey, it's WTMJ's Greg Matzik here. I want to tell you about my friends at Siding Unlimited. They are America's best installer of America's best replacement windows. And they don't have windows in their name. I get it. It's Siding Unlimited, but they do have windows, doors, roofing, siding, you name it, anything to help beautify your home's exterior. And Siding Unlimited, the family-owned Wisconsin company, known and recognized by Pella Windows and Doors as one of only 5 Pella Premier installers in the country. And the top, Pella has honored Siding Unlimited as their national Pella Certified Contractor of the Year. 4 out of the last 5 years. That's right. Siding Unlimited right here in Brookfield with a wonderful showroom. You'll see those Pella windows on display. You'll see a variety of different materials on display. Get a good idea for how they would look if installed at your house by paying a visit to Siding Unlimited's showroom in Brookfield, 665 Larry Court. Hey, the weather's starting to get really chilly here, right? Cold today, cold tomorrow. It's January. It's February. We know what's coming here. Cold weather. You want to make sure that stays on the outside of the house, not on the inside. If you got an issue, take some pictures and thoughts and ideas to Siding Unlimited. The best contractor in southeastern Wisconsin with so many ways to help beautify your home's exterior. Visit sidingunlimited.com.
Deep freeze is here. It's not too late for you to get hot, hot, hot. Fox World Travel has your ticket to paradise with exclusive deals you won't find anywhere else. Save up to $150 on Mexico and Caribbean vacations with Apple Vacations, or get Fox exclusive cruise perks like onboard credits and more with Celebrity Cruises, Holland America, or Princess. Don't miss this limited time to book now and save only at Fox World Travel. Book online or call 866-GO-FOX-GO and mention code RADIO.
Hey, business owners, are you looking to sell your business? I'm sure you have plenty of questions. WTMJ's John Mercure here. Join me for our latest Annex Wealth Management webinar. I'll be joined by Brandon Lehman and Brian Lamborn from Annex Wealth Management as we answer your questions. Who should you consult? And of course, when is the best time for you to sell your business? Sign up for this free webinar on Wednesday, January 29th. Text WEB to 855-616-1620 to sign up for the free webinar. Only here on WTMJ.
Well, no snow in the forecast. That's the good news here, but it is cold out. A high of just 17 degrees today. That wind chill going to feel anywhere from 0 to 10 below zero. Overnight low 4 at the inland areas are going to be a little chillier than that. 1 below zero if you're inland, 4 near the lake. May not notice much of a difference. Tomorrow we get up to 16. That wind chill again anywhere from 0 to 20 below zero. Midweek warm up, high of 25 on Wednesday, high of 39 on Thursday, high of 42 on Friday. 13 degrees and sunny in Milwaukee at 11:49. Greg and Jessica with you. It's Wisconsin's Midday News. Take us with you wherever you go. Subscribe, download the Wisconsin's Midday News podcast built by Siding Unlimited. Truly siding and a whole lot more. Listen at your leisure through our WTMJ mobile app.
Well, don't fall for this menu. It sounds healthy, but it's not. CBS News correspondent Matt Piper explains.
Arby's is trying to help its customers keep their New Year's resolutions, at least in name only. For just this week, the fast food chain is launching its New Year Same You menu, renaming some of its classic offerings as healthy alternatives. The small curly fries are now listed as steamed vegetables and the double beef and cheddar sandwich as salad with dressing. The company says the new menu takes the pressure off those held accountable by family and friends for keeping their goals while offering a cheat day.
So that must mean then that the receipt says the healthier item, right?
I would think so. I don't know. I mean, what from Arby's is unhealthy? So I've looked at Arby's as this sort of fast food chain where I actually bought into it because you could reheat a lot of their things the next day and it still tastes good. If you're just going a roast beef sandwich, okay, yeah, I get it. There's some calories packed into the bun. If you got the cheese sauce on the roast beef and cheddar, I know there's curly fries, so you got anything deep fried is going to take you off
that's not
the
healthy.
health map. But like just the standard roast beef sandwich, a little Arby's sauce on it, man, it's delicious.
It's probably it is good. I haven't had one in decades though, so I don't know what that says. It can't be that good, right? If you haven't gone in decades.
Well, they're not easy to find either, right? I mean, you got to get down toward Racine, Kenosha. There's one on a route to where my daughters play soccer, but I don't come across many Arby's.
Well, it just cracks me up, though. So it's like, do you go up there and say, I'd like a small curly fries? Or no, you say, like, I want steamed vegetables, wink, wink. I mean, and then I'm thinking about the receipt because if you are talking about, okay, well, my friends and family are going to hold me accountable because I said I was going to eat healthier, I feel like that's somebody looking at the receipt. So if you have the receipt and it says, I know even my husband every once in a while, he gets a little bummed when his mom has McDonald's, like if he sees McDonald's in the garbage, because he always wants her to eat healthy. So I could see this being like one of those things, like he sees the receipt and he's looking at it and he's like, oh, okay, well, she went to Arby's but got steamed vegetables and a salad with dressing. Yeah. Okay, that's good. So I feel like it's got to be on the receipt too, because your friends and family aren't always eating with you, right?
Well, if it's on the receipt, it's a good way to manifest it for a future dining opportunity, or maybe you avoid it. Hey, it's roast beef. I think roast beef is pretty good. I understand the fried element. But what about this? Some states are running out of donuts.
What?
Well, it's a Dunkin' issue here, a donut shortage. Stores in Nebraska, New Mexico, and some other states have gone a couple of days without donuts at Dunkin', formerly called Dunkin' Donuts.
Imagine walking up and seeing that sign. Sorry, no donuts today.
Signs on the doors and drive-through kiosks say they're unavailable due to a manufacturing error.
A spokesperson for Dunkin's owner, Inspire Brands, says an issue with the single supplier impacted 4% of the 9,500 U.S. locations and that the company has already started restocking some of the affected stores.
That's News Nation's Nick Smith, a manager at a Dunkin' in Nebraska, said the shortage is a national problem. Corporate office not commenting. The shortage does not appear to be impacting any Wisconsin locations. And there are many, 9,500 stores nationwide.
Woo! What's your favorite donut flavor?
I like a little bit of like savoriness with the sweet.
So you want a little bits of bacon on top?
I don't mind that if you're going to get really fancy.
Do they have that at Dunkin'? Little bits of bacon on top? Bacon does make everything better, right?
They don't, but that's like my preferred sort of donut, right?
Okay.
Just a But I tend to like anything pistachio these days, and I don't know why.
Oh, I know that a lot of pistachio lattes. I always liked, it was just very simple, but the strawberry donut at Dunkin' when I was a kid, just that very, very light pink frosting on top, more like a glaze than anything. And also the munchkins. Those are always fun. The cinnamon ones. Ooh, just pop one of those babies in your mouth.
Very easy. They're very good, and it's one you should probably avoid before doing too much consuming of it. But I get it. It's a fast food world that we live in. Unfortunately, kind of goes back to the stories of, what grocery stores have.
Yeah, all the ultra-processed foods.
Yes, and it's this kind of the culture we live in, unfortunately. I did for 1 year, New Year's resolution. I maintained to give up one fast food restaurant each year. I did this years ago.
That, yeah.
And it started with Burger King, and then it moved to Hardee's. At that time, there were more Hardee's than there are now. It went to Domino's Pizza, and I've not been back to a Burger King since I did that. This is probably 10, 12 years ago. I had 1 year where I resolved not to eat French fries for a full year, and I was able to do that. But I love me some French fries. Now I try and make them homemade if I can. It's just a lot of effort, but yeah, and trying to eat healthier. But I like what Arby's is doing.
I boycotted Burger King for about a year, and then I think I never went back after that. But it had nothing to do with healthy food or not. I was working in lacrosse at the time. I think I was working nights, and it was a crazy busy schedule. And all of a sudden, I went in. I went through the drive-thru to get some food, and I gave them a 20. And I realized as I was pulling away, I don't think they ever gave me my change back. And I looked, and I looked through my wallet, looked through my purse, and I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't get my change back. So then I went in and I thought, well, I have to go in for this. That's like one of those things where you feel like you need to go in. You can't just like go through the drive-thru. It just seemed like I should. And I boycotted them because it was like a whole big to-do. And it seemed like the woman didn't believe me. And that made me mad because it was one of those things. It's like, well, I understand that you have to check it. But I felt like if I was the person who had made that mistake, I would have been like, oh my gosh, I thought I did, but let me check, right? Like giving the customer the benefit of the doubt, which isn't that part of the business I feel like you're supposed to do. And she was like, no, I gave her change. And so then I had to sit as they counted the drawer.
Oh, jeez.
And then they were higher by the exact amount that I was due. And so I thought, boycott for Burger King.
You paid cash.
This was a long time ago.
That's the headliner there for me, right?
Yeah,
Back in the days where people carried cash. It's 11:56 on WTMJ. News coming up.
Get the beat of the Bucks straight from a fan favorite and Bucks legend.
Welcome to the fantastic voyage. Marcus Johnson, the captain of this vessel.
Tap into Here District with Marcus Johnson, a Bucks Plus audio production.
My first mate, Chris Johnson, the only father and son tandem.
Your weekly pulse on the Milwaukee Bucks and conversations with the biggest names in basketball. This week, Marcus and Chris are joined by Steve Jones, host of the Dunker Spot podcast. Find Here District now on Bucks.com/plus, the Bucks app, or wherever you get your podcast.
Visit family-owned Ken Michaels Furniture and our in-store design centers where you'll still find beautiful, luxurious, heirloom-quality American-made furniture. Right now, save 30 to 35% store-wide and take advantage of our complimentary design services. Whether you're moving, renovating, or updating, our designers will help your vision become a reality. Visit Ken Michaels Furniture in Brookfield on Capitol Drive and in Greenfield on Highway 100 to save 30 to 35% store-wide today. Sleep better and save more with mattresses from Milwaukee Mattress and Ken Michaels Furniture. Handcrafted in our Milwaukee factory, our mattresses utilize natural materials like cotton cushioning, which dissipates body heat, Joma wool quilts for warm wintry nights and cool summer evenings, and natural latex providing superior conformability and pressure relief for aching joints. Stop in today at any Ken Michaels Furniture store and save up to 50% compared to national brands.
WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee from the Annex Wealth Management Studios. This is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station.
Milwaukee Symphony Orchestra concertmaster Jinwoo Lee is the soloist in the tuneful and romantic violin concerto by Jean Sibelius, January 24th and 25th at the Bradley Symphony Center. Music director Ken David Mazur will lead the MSO in this program, which also features the tone poem Pan and Syrinx by Danish composer Carl Nielsen, as well as this searingly beautiful musical elegy Within Her Arms by British contemporary composer Anna Klein. Tchaikovsky's dazzling Romeo and Juliet rounds out this lush and dreamy program. Visit MSO.org for tickets and more information, or call the box office now at 414-291-7605. The number again for tickets is 414-291-7605.
Well, let's try this again. Greg Matzik here for Holiday Automotive in Fond du Lac. That New Year's sale is still going on, so if there's a new Chevrolet, Buick, or GMC in your future, boy, now's a great time to connect with Holiday and find the one that's right for you. Stack it up with their low, simplified price. Get more for your trade and put it all together with the season's best offers. That'll leave you ready to take the roads this winter with a little confidence. Here's another great option. How about a GM-certified pre-owned model? Peace of mind benefits are available for you, like 2 factory-backed warranties, scheduled maintenance, courtesy transportation, roadside assistance. It's all built in. Driving a GM-certified from Holiday, it's a no-brainer. I know you'll appreciate what I appreciate, and that is their welcoming, friendly, and genuine guest care. Part of what delights and makes fans of drivers from all over, fans like me and thousands of others who drive Holiday, Wisconsin's #1 Buick and GMC dealer. Find yours and discover the difference for yourself. Visit Holiday Chevrolet, Buick and GMC, Highway 41 and 23 in Fond du Lac. Also, visit holidaygm.com. It's worth the trip.
The place you want to go, Lynch McWanago.
Nobody sells for less than Lynch.
Your trusted and relevant source for news, sports, traffic, and weather. We are Wisconsin's radio station. News Radio 620, WTMJ, Milwaukee.
It's 12 o'clock. I'm Greg Matzik. This is Wisconsin's Midday News. It's Monday, January 13th. Your top story, new charges after a Milwaukee police shooting.
I'm Jessica Ty. A changing of the guard at Milwaukee Film.
Mostly sunny, breezy, very cold today, a high of 17 degrees. Wind chill going to make it feel like as low as 10 below zero. That wind could gust up to 30 miles an hour. Tonight, clear and cold. A low of 4 at the lake, 1 below zero inland. Wind chill anywhere from 10 to 20 below zero. Tuesday, mostly sunny, breezy, cold again. High of 16 degrees. Again, that wind chill going to make it feel like anywhere from 0 to 20 below throughout the day. 13 degrees and sunny in Milwaukee at 12:01. From the WTMJ breaking newsroom, a Milwaukee man shot by police faces child sex crime charges.
Prosecutors say 19-year-old Emilio Arner Ortiz had been chatting online with a 13-year-old boy from Illinois for 3 years. He recently drove to Illinois to pick up the boy in the middle of the night and returned to Milwaukee to have sex with him. When police officers responded to his residence last week Monday, Arner Ortiz pulled out a gun. A struggle began, and an officer then shot him in the abdomen. Arner Ortiz faces charges of second-degree sexual assault of a child abduction, child enticement, using a computer to facilitate a child sex crime, and pointing a firearm at law enforcement. Jessica Gatso, WTMJ News.
Arner Ortiz could face up to 126 years in prison and $360,000 in fines if convicted on all charges.
A school referendum could be on the ballot in Racine this April.
The Racine Unified School District Board will hold a special meeting this evening to consider adding a 5-year, $190 million operational referendum to their ballot. Money from an operational referendum would go towards school safety and high school academy offerings, among other things. If it fails, the superintendent says there would be programming and staff cuts. The Racine Journal-Times says if approved, the referendum would add about $35 in taxes per $100,000 of assessed property value. Eric Bilstead, WTMJ News.
The Agriculture Department now says last summer's outbreak of listeria was due in part to poor sanitation conditions at a Boar's Head processing plant in Virginia. News Nation's Marky Martin.
10 people died, dozens more were sick. Inspectors found product residue, insects, mold, mildew at this plant. The Food Safety and Inspection Service report also says there needs to be improved government oversight and better training to prevent those types of future outbreaks.
The report confirms an earlier finding by agriculture inspectors.
Damage assessments are underway in Japan after an earthquake in the southern part of the country. ABC's Anthony Trotter has the details from Tokyo.
Japan marked Coming of Age Day today, a public holiday celebrating young people reaching maturity. In the evening, a strong earthquake estimated at magnitude 6.9 shook the southwestern region. Small tsunami waves followed, but warnings have now been lifted. Authorities reported no disruption to nuclear reactor operations and advised residents to remain cautious as additional tremors may follow. Anthony Trotter, ABC News, Tokyo.
Milwaukee Film has a new executive director. The organization says Susan Kearns will assume the role effective February 3rd. Kearns served as Milwaukee's Film's education director from 2010 to 2013 and co-founded the Chicago Feminist Film Festival. Current interim executive director Ann Reed will retire from her role after a transitional overlap. Time for news about your money. The WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. Good day for the Dow, up nearly 225 points at 42,161. NASDAQ remains in a bit of a pitfall here, down 140 points today at 19,019. S&P 500 down about 12 at 5815. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, and Annex Ignite. It's financial planning at every level. Details, visit annexwealth.com.
Time to clean out those lockers. Sports, traffic, and weather are next. Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time is 12:04.
With the ability to market luxury homes on a higher scale than ever before, Century 21 Benefit Realty has taken a huge step forward to tap into a global network of buyers. Maximum exposure to spotlight your unique home with our fine homes and estates marketing so you can sell it for the highest price. And with no upfront fees and 1.9% real estate commission, you win. This is Angela Calais with Century 21 Benefit Realty, benefit-realty.com, where you pay less for full service. Each office is independently owned and operated. First off, our 1.9% commission structure helps get their foot in the door, and that's why agents like working here. But what they really like is having the strongest marketing tools available, with the resources to help them sell homes at the highest prices to satisfy their clients. Century 21 Benefit Realty offers what agents like most, and that's to help them be successful. If you really want to believe in the business model that you're representing, give me a call. I'm Angela Calais with Century 21 Benefit Realty. Call me, and let's talk about your future. Each office is independently owned and operated.
Staying active, essential for overall health. Proper medical support, essential for staying active. WTMJ's Vince Vitrano for Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. Whether it's keeping a weekend warrior like me on the tennis court or keeping young athletes in the game, you want the best in sports medicine, that's OAW. Surgeons, nurses, and physical therapists help you recover from injury, avoid injury in the future, and enhance performance. Get care 7 days a week. Walk right in at an Ortho ASAP clinic or book an appointment online at orthowisconsin.com.
Join the roar of 18,000 Bucks fans at Fiserv Forum and be a part of the slam dunks, game-changing plays, and electrifying victories live. Witness the edge-of-your-seat action and unforgettable moments as they happen. You don't want to miss this. Grab your calendar, handpick your favorite matchups, and secure your seats for Dame time in Milwaukee and every incredible moment that comes next at bucks.com/tickets. That's bucks.com/tickets.
Time for a WTMJ Sports Update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All Sports Desk. Packers clearing out their lockers one day after a 22-10 loss to the Eagles in Philadelphia, a game in which Jordan Love threw 3 interceptions.
Anytime you aren't holding that Super Bowl trophy up and having that be the end of your season.
Temperatures are impacting some of the cars, and that's what we're seeing today, or if it's just a Monday, and like some people, the cars don't want to go either.
Right. A little sluggish for cars and sluggish for people getting out of bed this morning, I'm sure. Well, cold today, right? Good day to stay in bed, I suppose. A high of 17 degrees. That wind chill going to make it feel much colder, well below zero. Overnight low of 4 at the lake, 1 below zero inland. Again, wind chills anywhere from 10 to 20 below. Tomorrow, much of the same. A high of 16 degrees. Going to feel like anywhere from 0 to 10 below zero. Bit of a midweek warm-up with a high of 25 on Wednesday, 39 the high on Thursday, and up to 42 on Friday. 15 and sunny in Milwaukee at 12:08.
Live from the Annex Wealth Management Studios in downtown Milwaukee, it's Wisconsin's Midday News, making stories come to life. Now, here are your hosts, Greg Matzik and Jessica Ty.
So they call it Black Monday in the NFL, like, the week after the season ends, or the Monday after the season. And this has been going on for about a week, where coaches have been relieved of their duties, especially for teams that just didn't quite meet expectations, falling way below expectations, not reaching the playoffs. There was some thought that Mike McCarthy would end up back with the Dallas Cowboys. They were really injured in Dallas. They had kind of a rough season. Nobody was healthy. They lost their quarterback. It was just kind of an all-out mess. But now Mike McCarthy is out, and I would be surprised if the Chicago Bears did not bring Mike McCarthy in for an interview. That's a two-way street. McCarthy's got to want to interview for that job. But
that
could you
would be
imagine
so
that?
strange if he gets that job.
Could you imagine? And I remember thinking the same thing, right? The Cowboys have been a longtime rival of the Green Bay Packers, especially for those who were watching the Brett Favre, Troy Aikman days back in the 90s. Could never get by Dallas. It always felt like they were the roadblock. And then McCarthy coaching Dallas and the Packers playing in the playoffs last year, that all felt strange. But I think it would even feel more strange if McCarthy were to head up the Chicago Bears. And
Totally
it does
agree.
feel like the type of team he would like to tape over.
Well, the other thing that I always find interesting about this, it feels like with these big names with the coaches, it's like this team lets them go, and then they're just going to pop up over here. So it for me, it's like this little puzzle. Like, where's this guy going next?
It is kind of a small fraternity, right? And you'll have some assistants and coordinators that sort of graduate to that role, but McCarthy does have a proven track record. Insert whatever joke you want here, but he is a Super Bowl winning head coach back in his time with the Green Bay Packers. Interesting story to follow here this offseason. 12:10, some big stories that we're on top of this afternoon.
It's now at noon on Wisconsin's Midday News.
Authorities have made dozens of arrests and are patrolling the fire-scorched neighborhoods of Los Angeles County with a warning for would-be burglars and looters. ABC's Kana Whitworth.
The Los Angeles County Sheriff with an urgent warning to people who are taking advantage of a desperate situation.
Don't do it. Whether it is burglary, looting, or any other crime, whether it's a scam of some kind that you're conjuring up to make money off of the poor people that have been involved in this.
Officials warning burglars, looters, and scammers that they will be prosecuted if they take advantage of people who've been through this tragedy. A curfew order has been established from dusk till dawn in the affected fire zones to protect homes.
It is so frustrating, and we see this time and time again when there's a tragedy. All of a sudden, the looters pop up. You know, they're going into stores on Michigan Avenue, or in this case, they're going into homes in California. During our last hour, we talked with ABC's Alex Stone, and I was asking him about some of these looters who are dressing up as firefighters, Greg. They're pretending to be firefighters to go into some of these homes and get the stuff that's left.
It's just like next level stupid criminal. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing?
So frustrating. Officials also reminding families that price gouging is against the law in California. The law covers housing rentals, home repairs, materials for reconstruction, emergency, and medical supplies. At this point, we are now up to 24 people confirmed dead. Dozens remain unaccounted for, and that death toll that's now up to 24, they expect that number to go up even more. And here's the other thing. As we're looking ahead, the Santa Ana winds are expected to increase this week. They dropped for a while over the weekend. They had some time to get the planes up there so they could douse water on the flames and put some fire retardant down. So they lucked out a little bit, but here we go again. The wind's expected to pick up.
Lockers being cleared out in Green Bay. The Packers season over following that dreadful performance against the Eagles last night. 22-10, the final.
I'm hurt. Seeing all the guys that work as hard as they do. Like Josh Jacob, he a dog. So he always give everything he got. And it just hurt to see those guys like, J Love, all the older guys, Eldon, old lineman X, all the leaders in our locker room. They work hard. So it just hurt to see that.
Packers wide receiver Jaden Reed, he will be back. He's under contract for next season. In fact, most of the Packers' marquee players are under contract, which leads you to believe that they'll be a strong team again next season. They could just not get over the hump against the NFC's elite. That was the problem this year. It's good to be good, but better to be elite. The good news is the Packers are the youngest team in the NFL. They should have a good amount of cap space to work with. Aaron Rodgers' contract comes off the books. That should leave about $63 million, roughly. They'll put some of that into their draft picks, keeping some of their free agents, perhaps, and then maybe doing a little shopping in the free agent store. Two of their best moves in the offseason were Josh Jacobs and Xavier McKinney, arguably your offensive and defensive MVPs.
Thank goodness we could bring people some good news after that game. It's nice to say, okay, here's the good news. Well, thank goodness.
kind of a silver lining, but yes, a very tough day and a poor performance. It was just sort of dreadful. The defense was okay, but special teams wasn't great, and the offensive side of the running back was just awful yesterday.
Too many interceptions.
Just awful.
Yeah, it was bad. Well, the nationwide threat of respiratory viruses is growing. In fact, the CDC is issuing a warning. 35 states, including Wisconsin, are now reporting high levels. ABC's Rana Alley tells us what it's all about.
It's being referred to as the winter quademic, an increase in cases of COVID, RSV, stomach viruses, and flu, leading to a spike in emergency room visits. In Chicago, 2 children under age 2 have died from the flu so far this year. Last year, there were 0. In Louisiana, parents are rushing kids to the ER with stomach viruses, primarily due to dehydration. Doctors attribute the spike in illnesses to gatherings over the holidays and lower vaccination rates.
The winter quademic. I had not heard that phrase before this year. If you haven't done so already, remember Dr. Weston just told us it's still okay to get vaccinated. Flu season typically extends into May.
12:15 on WTMJ. Coming up next, if you're looking for a job in 2025, potentially some good news.
It's my nature to be fearless.
Gruber Law Offices presents Thanalysis.
One day it's all gonna end. What am I scared of?
A podcast from Thanasis Antetokounmpo.
I've airball, free throws. I've turned the ball over. I've missed game-winning shots.
Also supported by Carbless, premium ready-to-drink cocktails.
I don't care, man. I only live once. Can't go back.
And Potawatomi Casino Hotel in Milwaukee.
There's nothing for me to fear.
Subscribe on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts.
Hey, who's hungry? That might be past lunchtime. That's okay. Never too early to look ahead to dinner. And if you need to stop at the store tonight, make sure you run through the frozen food aisle. Grab yourself some Palermo's, Wisconsin's hometown pizza, found wherever you like to shop. Festival Foods, Pick and Save, Sendik's, Piggly Wiggly, and Woodbins. Picked up a couple from Sendik's over the weekend. As a matter of fact, we usually have a few in our freezer. Most commonly, Screamin' Sicilian. There's usually a Primo Thin floating around as well. Also love the Neighborhood Pizzeria Pizza. Surfer Boy's got a gnarly range of toppings. There's even a breakfast pizza. Palermo's has you covered with a slice for every appetite, really morning, noon, or night. Make it simple, make it delicious, make everyone happy. Make it a Palermo's night in your household. Wisconsin's hometown pizza celebrating its 60th anniversary of making the best frozen pizza you're going to find. It is Palermo's.
For over a century, local broadcasting has evolved with the needs of the community. We move past the stigmas of opinion journalism and bring the most relevant news online, on air, and on the go. You have trusted us with your news, sports, weather, and entertainment. Trust us to keep moving with you. Text radio to 52886 and tell Congress local broadcasting is here to stay.
Whether you are a local who wants to enjoy a night out or you're planning to visit our great city of Milwaukee, enjoy an artfully stylish experience at St. Kate the Arts Hotel. Hey, maybe you got friends coming in from out of town. St. Kate the Arts Hotel is ideally located in the heart of the theater district in downtown Milwaukee with deluxe accommodations, culinary creativity, on-site art galleries, and nightly live music. You and your friends will enjoy every element of your stay at St. Kate. Learn more and book your stay at stkatearts.com. That's stkatearts.com.
Well, the sun is out, but cold temperatures are here. 15 right now, up to 17 for your high today. Wind chill anywhere from 0 to 10 below 0. Overnight low, air temp, 4 near the lake, 1 below 0 inland. Stay inside. Tomorrow, much of the same. Put it on repeat from today with wind chills anywhere from 0 to 20 below, a high of 16. Midweek warm-up, Wednesday's high 25, Thursday's high 39, Friday's high 42. 14 degrees
Quite
and
the swing.
sunny. I'm telling you, man. And then back to the Arctic temperatures early next week. So enjoy it while it's here. 14 degrees and sunny in Milwaukee at 12:18. Our weekly check-in with the MMAC. Typically, we chat with Tim Sheehy, Senior Advisor to the MMAC. Tim enjoying a little bit of time off here to begin the new year. Happy to be joined in studio by Corey Joe Biddle, VP of Talent Strategies and Community Affairs at the MMAC. Thanks for making the long trek down the stairs from our neighboring office.
You helped me get a few steps in. Thanks for having me.
That's good. It's great to have you here. Hey, you are very much focused on, the job market and trends here in the city of Milwaukee, and really kind of focusing on nationwide, but then honing it in and making it local. If you're looking for work in 2025, is it going to be a good year for those job seekers?
It's looking up. It's looking up. So there are staffing reports, companies that help organizations throughout the nation fill their positions. And they're saying they're up in HR. They're hiring more HR. So that's a bellwether that says more positions are coming. So it's looking up.
I laugh at this Wall Street Journal article. The headline is, "Looking for a job is set to get less miserable this year."
You know, it can be miserable.
Less miserable.
Yeah.
It's not exactly promising, but yes, they're saying, yeah, you read that right. But so it is good news. Some job seekers may be skeptical, though. Some people who look at last year. How long, in some cases, were people waiting to find a job? And then how often were people successful?
A lot. You know, if you're in a high earning, white collar position, it can 6 months easy. So that's where it feels miserable because it's about the right fit. So you're looking for the right culture, the right schedule, the right salary, the right offering of your skill set. And the companies are looking for the same thing. And that mismatch happens often, and it's uncomfortable. The other piece of it, too, I think that is changing. Why is it going to change in 2025? Because we've all sort of applied and you get that rejection letter that kind of feels like that's a little impersonal. What do you mean I don't have the skills? I have the exact skills. So the feeling is that AI is bouncing a lot of people out, but those systems are getting more sophisticated and HR is working better with them. So the experience of job searching is expected to be a lot more positive for people this year as the technology gets better and HR is ramping up.
Well, I'm glad you brought up artificial intelligence because I feel like some companies maybe hit the pause button on hiring certain positions because they wanted to explore and assess what sort of AI capabilities they had.
Yeah.
But that's changing so rapidly. How do you unpause that pause button to move forward?
I think people are, everybody's thinking AI is going to replace jobs, and what we're finding, and a lot of people that are starting to use it, it doesn't replace jobs. It actually offers more opportunity for more high-skilled positions. So a lot of companies are finding they're having to hire more. So AI inside your company is going to help you be more productive, more sales, more everything. That means you have to have people who know how to use these tools. Those are more positions just in AI, right? And then if you're more productive and you have more customers and more output, that means you need more staff. So if it works correctly and if you're working the system right, AI is going to make you a bigger, more productive company. But that still means you need more people. It doesn't replace the need for high-skilled workers.
Do you think at some point more companies are going to hire an AI specialist, like somebody who is just, that's your lane, you know what to do, and then you can go and have these training sessions with your other workers to ultimately make the whole company a more productive place?
Lots of companies are doing it already. There's a company that we work with that hire 8 people to do it.
Oh, wow.
So if you worked with AI, the prompts, there's a thinking and a relationship that you have to have with that AI, the way that you speak to it to get the information out of it. It takes practice. It takes skill. I mean, there are people who study how to do these are going to be positions moving forward in the future.
2025, are we going to see a mass return to the office? Companies have kind of revised their policies post-pandemic to, accommodate their workforce, and you could get a job working in Florida, living in Wisconsin, or vice versa, and that happened. But then companies started to reassess and say, you know what, we might be better all together, more productive. What do we anticipate for 2025?
So RTO, return to office, is a hot topic right now. And if workers have anything to say about it, no, there's not going to be a mass return. But there is a little bit of a tension between what CEO and leadership of companies want and what talent has come to expect. CEOs are saying, look, we have this space for you. There's collaborative spaces. You work better in person. What about our company culture? You have to be here for us to drive a certain company culture. And the talent is saying productivity is not down when I'm working remotely. And they've become accustomed to what flexibility offers to them as people in their lives. So there is a little bit of a wrestling match, and the sweet spot has become hybrid.
Yeah.
So, we're moving away from that complete flexibility, like have it your way, kind of figure it out based on what's going on in your life. Now companies are like, okay, we know you want a little bit of remote work, but we have to have some structure. So we're seeing nationally companies are looking at 3 to 4 days in office and then maybe 1 to 2 remotely, and locally it's a little more flexible. I'm seeing with our companies, we have a CHRO roundtable for the MMAC members. Most of those companies are doing 3 to 4 days in office and then the other days remotely. And most of them are letting their people pick which days.
And does this seem to be like just kind of a sliding scale? Because I feel like we've heard about some companies are like, okay, everybody back in the office, but then all of a sudden they're like, let's reverse that a little bit and then going to the hybrid model. Are some of these companies just still trying to figure it out?
Yeah, you'll see this year there's more of a hybrid model. I think when we were starting to come back to quote unquote normal, the push for like 5 days in office was there and there was resistance. So I think it dropped back by like 14%. So there are less